Hi, I'm Dr. Asif Ali. I'm a clinical assistant professor at the Texas Medical Center, and I'm a preventative cardiologist. And I'm interested in research on agents and natural products that help enhance your vascular wellness. And that's what we have today with Prime My Body Core. So let's hop into this and let's talk about the agenda here, which is what is core and what are the products that make it up and what are those products help you with in regards to your vascular wellness. We're talking about nitric oxide. We're talking about CBD, which is an extremely interesting area of research right now in the cardiology preventative world. And we're going to touch upon why core was developed and what are those ingredients and natural ingredients that Prime My Body's put into core and how does this all work. So let's hop into core, which is a nitric oxide booster plus CBD. And core is all about natural ingredients that increase nitric oxide production and utilizing CBD to help with that blood flow and help also with decreasing inflammation. So we're going to get into a little bit deeper dive during this talk, but high level, I wanted to plant a couple of seeds in your mind to remember a couple of agents in core. Those would be L-arginine. So I want you to remember L-arginine. It's a quick acting nitric oxide booster, and L-citrulline, which is a longer term nitric oxide booster, plus the natural product, one of my favorites, red beet powder, which obviously you find in red beets, which is a potent increaser of nitric oxide. And of course, CBD, hemp. How does that also improve your vascular flow for your vascular wellness? Exciting area of research that we're going to touch upon before the end of this talk. A couple of anti-inflammatories as well, like resveratrol and CoQ10, which I'm sure you've heard of. Plenty of other agents, as you can see here, that all really help to bring core together as a product that is going to enhance nitric oxide. So what is nitric oxide? Well, nitric oxide is a molecule produced in nearly every type of cell in your body. It's one of the most important molecules for blood vessel health. It's a vasodilator. That means that it relaxes the inner muscles of your blood vessels, and that causes your blood vessels to widen. And in this way, nitric oxide can increase blood flow and potentially even lower blood pressure. And nitric oxide is a very powerful molecule. In fact, the discovery of nitric oxide and its function has been said to be one of the most important in the history of cardiovascular medicine. And as a heart doctor, I'm really excited about the effects of nitric oxide on a day-to-day basis and how do we enhance and improve that in your health and in your vascular wellness. And in fact, I've done plenty of research, as have many of my other colleagues. And in fact, since its discovery and since its inception, there have been over 170,000 published articles on the various importance of nitric oxide to date. That's quite amazing. And another amazing fact is not only is nitric oxide, quote unquote, the miracle molecule, but it was also co-founded by my mentor, Dr. Farid Murad, at UT Medical School, where I used to teach. And Dr. Murad really came through with two of his other colleagues in regards of the importance of nitric oxide in your vascular health. So let's talk about vascular health. As we age, we tend to lose about 85% of our ability to develop nitric oxide. And what does that really translate to? Well, if you lose nitric oxide, your arteries tend to narrow, as you can see here. And that starts with age-related inability to make nitric oxide. And when does that start? That starts actually right when you're in your 20s. And we start progressive decrease in nitric oxide and increase in fatty deposits, vascular structural change, and heightened clot risk. As you can see, as we age, we reduce nitric oxide production in our blood cells, and you have blood cells and blood vessels from head to toe, from your brain all the way down to your toes. And that loss of nitric oxide creates thickening of your arteries, inflammation, stiffening of calcium buildup, which stiffens your arteries, known as atherosclerosis or hardening of your arteries. And that leads to potential rupture of your blood vessels. And that's a heart attack. So what reduces nitric oxide? Well, nitric oxide reduction is all of the risk factors that cause heart disease and vascular disease. So in my previous slide, age is one of the factors that can decrease nitric oxide, but also potent killers of nitric oxide would be diabetes, or even if you have impaired fasting glucose, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and smoking, which is a big nitric oxide killer, obesity, and if you had family history of heart disease. These are all create a decrease in blood flow in your blood vessels, and it causes atherosclerosis, which is that hardening of your arteries, and that leads to a clinical event, which as a preventative cardiologist, I'm trying to prevent. And so how does that translate? What does this decrease in nitric oxide actually do to your body? Well, that can increase your risk of stroke, that can increase your risk of vision loss, of heart attacks that lead to heart failure, of kidney disease that leads to kidney failure, as well as erectile dysfunction, and even all the way down your legs, known as peripheral vascular disease as well. I think we can understand then why Prime My Body was so interested in helping our community with the launch of this very important product. So in addition to all of these nitric oxide boosters, Core has in its core CBD or cannabidiol, which is how CBD affects your vascular wellness. This is a really, really interesting part of research that's ongoing on how CBD affects your vascular wellness. And there have been a number of published articles that I've read, and I've listed a few here. The actual molecule where CBD acts on is something called CB1. And those are receptors that we find in blood vessels, and that helps increase blood flow. And we've seen that in animal models, we've seen that in vivo, and we've seen that in isolated arteries. We can see acute and time-dependent vasorelaxation or relaxation of those blood vessels. Really, really interesting how Prime My Body's adding CBD plus these nitric oxide boosters. So those are the core active ingredients, and we're going to get into a little deeper dive on those. But I'd be remiss to say that Prime My Body's really focus on the pure, scientific, effective, and natural ingredients in Core product. So let's get into what really makes Core a potent vasodilator for your blood vessels. Well, I touched upon this before. One of the products is L-arginine, and L-arginine is a really important part of the nitric oxide pathway. It's converted by an enzyme called eNOS. It's an enzyme found in your blood vessels, and that creates nitric oxide. It's a fast-acting molecule, and you may have seen in pre-sport workouts, many athletes use L-arginine to get that extra boost or pump in their workouts. Well, that extra pump in their workouts is typically L-arginine. You can find L-arginine naturally in the fish and meat products that you eat, but many times we have to have that supplementation, as I showed you, as we age. Second really big item in Core is L-citrulline. It's also an amino acid, and it's found in meats, nuts, legumes, and even watermelon. So if you've ever wondered why eating nuts is healthy, we're talking about like walnuts or almonds, it's because it has L-citrulline in it. And it's a longer acting molecule that helps boost nitric oxide on a longer term basis. and it works synergistically with L-arginine. So you get acute and long-term effects of the nitric oxide. Beetroot powder. It's one of my personal favorites. Red beet as a vegetable is a power food. It's a fast-acting way to increase nitric oxide by starting as a nitrate that then converts into a nitrite and then into nitric oxide. And this conversion is actually relatively quick. Red beets, as you may know, is a potent antioxidant. Hence, that's why it's a power food. Let's talk about CoQ10, another powerful antioxidant that is produced naturally in the body to aid in heart health, as well as cell growth and maintenance. However, the level of production of CoQ10 as we age tends to go down. And that's why it's important many times to supplement with CoQ10. There's been plenty of research to show a wide variety of benefits in the use of CoQ10, including improving heart health, maintaining cellular energy. And if you've ever had a person who you know took a medication known as a statin to reduce their cholesterol, well, one of the side effects is muscle pain. That muscle pain is due to the reduction of CoQ10. So many times you'll see people who are on a statin take CoQ10, and I'm glad that this is part of CORE. And then really exciting research that we talked about is CBD. And the studies show that it is not only increasing the flow in your blood vessels, in particular blood vessels, both in vivo as well as in animal models, but it also is an anti-inflammatory botanical, which we know plenty of literature has shown to alleviate stress, among many other benefits. Hemp extract has also been shown to lower blood pressure, and it is beneficial to heart health in many models. It is a non-psychoactive, meaning it won't make you high, but the positive effects are seen in CORE. And I've also included a PubMed study by the National Library of Medicine to show all the research that's going on. Very exciting times to be part of Prime My Body CORE's launch. I'm also excited to talk about astaxanthin and resveratrol. Well, astaxanthin is currently one of the most sought after antioxidant supplements in the wellness space, and it's not without good reason. Not only is it an antioxidant powerhouse, but it's jam-packed with anti-inflammatory properties and has many, many health benefits that have been published. It has a reddish pigment that belongs to a group of chemicals called carotenoids, and it occurs naturally in certain algae. And it also is the reason why you see the pink or red color in salmon, in lobster, shrimp, and other seafood. And resveratrol is another polyphenol. It's also commonly found in red wine, red grape skins, and even in mulberries, among other natural sources. And I'm excited that both of these natural products are part of CORE. A lot of research has shown that resveratrol assists in helping with high blood pressure. It's been studied in a number of journals, and it as a potent antioxidant and to help with circulatory health. I'm really happy that both of these products are part of CORE. As you know, Prime My Body is very, very interested in having natural flavors, always preferred over artificial alternatives. And so I'm excited that Prime My Body has really taken a more natural approach, as it always does, in making a great taste. So they've used stevia leaf extract and monk fruit extract. Stevia leaf extract is from the stevia plant, which is in South America, and these are called steviol glycosides, and that is what provides a sweet taste without any calories. And it's a healthy alternative to artificial or undesirable sugar alternatives. And monk fruit is about 150 to 200 times sweeter than sugar. No calories, no carbs, no sodium, and no fat. So really excited about the natural flavoring for Prime My Body's product. Well, we're talking about vascular wellness. We're talking about nitric oxide derivatives. We're talking about nitric oxide boosters, talking about anti-inflammation, talking about CBD. It is really exciting times to be able to put all of these things together, including your lifestyle choices, to really help on the longevity and the prevention of wellness, which my mantra is lifestyle as medicine. Those are your lifestyle choices. Prime My Body is really focused on providing natural alternatives to the community members to really help and assist in your vascular wellness. I'm excited to explain that Prime My Body is launching a research study, which I will be conducting on the acute and long-term benefits in vascular wellness using core nitric oxide booster plus CBD. It's a first that we've seen actually worldwide. We'll be conducting that, and I'm proud that Prime My Body is committed to take the time and effort to really bring out the best in class, the best in products, the best in research to empower you, the community of Prime My Body, in core. I thank you for your time. I thank you for your participation, and I look forward to working with you, the community of Prime My Body, to launch core as a successful product for not only your wellness, but your community and team members' wellness as well. Thank you so much for your time and commitment to Prime My Body.